King of the Hill has quickly become one of my all-time favorite TV shows. A massive comfort show where the right episode can make all of life's problems feel insignificant compared to the pure bliss happening right in front of you. Tons of great episodes like Wings to the Dope, which I talked about last time, to Sirloin with Love, Square Peg, Pretty Dresses, Chasing Bobby, etc. But also tons of awful ones like Priest Hank Le Deluge, also known as First Hank, Then the Flood.
After Hank the Flood.
Texas Skillsaw Massacre, I'm with Cupid, Racist Dog, etc. Most of which rely heavily on misunderstanding tropes, which in my eyes is the worst kind of plot. The episode we're talking about, however, isn't as bad as the other ones mentioned, but still isn't great. It's infamous in the King of the Hill fanbase being one of those episodes, with plots so outrageous and stupid they stand out like Hitler at Barnes & Noble. That episode being, I kid you not, Transnational Amusements presents Peggy's Magic Sex Feet, and if the name doesn't tip you off, this entire episode is about the foot fetish community, specifically demonizing the people in it as self-loathing, filthy, foot-loving perverts. Which, yeah, the community is filled with people like that. But riddle me this, Batman, what community doesn't have bad apples here and there? To expect anything but is unrealistic at best. But then again, we have to remember this is late 90s conservative Texas we're talking about here. So the episode starts off with Hank and Peggy setting up Luann as Bobby's babysitter.
Now, we'll be with Dale and Nancy at Chef Ling's. I don't know the number, but if there's any problem, just penetrate the Gribble's perimeter. The alarm company will page them.
I don't need a babysitter.
Bobby, Luann is not here to babysit. She is here because she misses you and she wants to spend time with you.
No,
You'll get the other half when we get back.
They're preparing to go out with their friends and neighbors Dale and Nancy Gribble. They surprise them with the reveal that they're going to a bowling alley instead of their original plans.
Change of plans. The reservations fell through. We're gonna eat in the alley tonight. The bowling alley.
What? Oh, no, I don't think... I'm not much of a bowler.
This shirt would beg to differ. Look at yours, Hank. Flamer for the propane man. I guess I could have gone with propane man.
No, Flamer is cooler.
I refuse to believe Hank would have wanted a propane man over Flamer. I mean, this man has wet dreams about propane, for God's sake. This does not sit right with Peggy, as she has very large feet at 16 feet. No. This doesn't sit right with Peggy, as she has very large feet at 16 inches, which aren't far from my own foot size at size 15 wide. Yes, shoe shopping is a nightmare. Peggy is highly self-conscious about her foot size, unlike me who revels in it, and doesn't want to go out but peer pressured into it.
Look at yours, Shug. It says spare peg.
I started with square peg, and then I gave it a twist. And then Nancy said spare was a bowling term, so it works on both levels.
All right, this was very thoughtful, but really, I'm not much of a bowler. Or...
Come on, Peggy. The Gribbles are going to think you don't like them.
He's right, Peggy. What do you have against my wife?
It should be noted that Hank is very aware of Peggy's insecurity over her foot size, and yet is still adamant in all of them going to the bowling alley, where foot size plays a big part in even being allowed to play. They get to the bowling alley and are giving the shoe guide their sizes. They get to the bowling alley and are giving the shoe guide their soul size. Oh my god. They get to the bowling alley and are giving the shoe guide their sizes. Then Peggy has to give the worker her foot size, and when that happens...
Ma'am?
Hmm?
The man needs to know your shoe size.
I'm sure he does, and I will tell it to him. Why don't you go pick your shoes up, and I will be with you shortly. Look, I am willing to pay your shoe rental fee, but I would like to bowl in my own shoes, please.
I'm sorry, but those aren't bowling shoes. I can't let you on the lanes.
I am a size 16.
As the worker pulls out the shoes, and if I may add, not in the kindest way possible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said size 16.
I did.
Oh my god. No one's ever asked for those before.
Like, seriously, fuck this guy. Peggy sees the big 16 on the heel and is mortified, so she runs off.
All right, Hank, I'm just gonna go check on Bobby.
Peggy is next seen comparing foot sizes of Hank in bed, which leads to a flashback of her as a girl going shoe shopping, and we find out that she had clown feet since she was a little twerp.
But Mommy, I want my Mary Janes.
Oh, Peggy, it's not my fault your feet are growing and you're not.
I found something that can fit her.
Nurse's shoes?
The horrors of not having trendy shoes is timeless, it seems. Well, I now have Mary Jane's and Doc Martens as Air Jordans.
Hey, watch your feet.
Bro, what is wrong with Hank in this episode? God damn. Peggy is then seen going to a shoe store to get her own personal pair of bowling shoes, but given something less pleasant.
I'm looking for something in a woman's size 16 bowling shoe that says 8 on the back.
No, I think you're looking for a size 16 and a half that says 8 on the back.
16 and a half? No. I have been a size 16 since I was just a little girl.
Oh, it's actually quite common for a woman's feet to keep growing as she gets older.
They're getting bigger? Oh, God.
Yeah, at this rate, I'd say you've got a shot at the big 2-0.
Wow, either that dude is a massive asshole or has zero social awareness. Good grief. By this point, Peggy is absolutely miserable and more self-conscious about her feet than ever before. She gets in her car and starts breaking down. A woman comes walking over to Peggy's window and speaks to Peggy.
Hello? It's okay. It really is.
Oh, please. Spare me your psychobabble.
She tells Peggy to see a man who supposedly can make her feel good about her feet. And spoiler warning, but the doctor Peggy sees is actually a foot porn director, leading me to believe this woman was hired to seek out large-footed women to recruit for him, given we never see her again. So take that with a grain of salt. So Peggy does, and just look at this transition. I did not edit any of this.
Grant Trimble?
When Peggy meets the doctor, he basically tells her that her feet are stunning and a marvelous work of art, and that she should consider taking pics of them for him, which Peggy is hesitant at first, but the doctor says all the right things to get her to do it.
Mr. Trimble, I've never let my feet be photographed before.
Please, Peggy, you have an exceptional gift. Wouldn't it be wrong of you not to share it with the world?
I can see how it might be, yes.
Pro tip, if someone is this insistent on you taking pictures of your body or parts of your body, it's most likely not for the most innocent of reasons. We then get a montage of Peggy having her feet worshipped on a set while she relishes in all of it, then goes home to tell Hank about her experience. Hank is proud of Peggy, and Peggy is proud of Peggy. We then find the guys are eavesdropping, and what they hear is vastly different to what Hank hears.
Alright, what's so funny? If it's that Tweety bird made of X's, I've already seen it.
Hank, welcome to Peggy'sFeet.com.
Interesting how an entire website was created just for Peggy's feet, and not just uploaded to one general location like E621 or for Affinity. Just to name names.
Wait a minute. Is that a pornographic website?
It's not a pornographic website. It's a fetish website.
What's the difference?
And those are Peggy's feet.
Oh my God.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of Hank's reaction here. Knowing him, he definitely would have had a much more vicious reaction.
Oh my...
All things considered, Hank has taken this very well.
For God's sakes, Boomhauer, you've known Peggy longer than I have. She respects herself and hates her feet too much to ever show up on something like this.
I don't know about back then, but I know for a fact there are women nowadays who are very open about having feet kinks. So this line is unintentionally comedic to me. Hank, with this newfound information, decides to go to Grant Trimble's office, Grant Trimble being the doctor from before, to tell him off and to leave Peggy out of his business to no avail. So he then decides to break it gently to Peggy, and when she wasn't connecting the dots, Hank just finally came out and told her.
Your socks are for sale too. Peggy, they're foot fetish videos.
Oh my God.
She's understandably heartbroken by this, and then gets mad. She storms up to Grant and tries to quit, but Grant says the right words to convince her otherwise. She starts seeing him in secret.
I was ready to pull the plug on Peggy'sFeet.com, but then I realized something.
Yes?
Have you ever seen a pair of big, beautiful feet like yours in, let's use a Gap ad. Have you ever seen them in a Gap ad? Ever?
No.
That's right. You haven't. But what if someone, alone at first, was out there appreciating big, beautiful feet? Pretty soon you'd see them in music videos, then Hollywood movies.
So really, what you're saying is, I will be helping create a better world for men and women?
After this, we get some more scenes of Peggy recording her feet, thumping on eggs and posing rotten fruit, etc. And then shows up the next day with some coffee and flowers. Then Grant switches out a dime and starts acting like a bitch to Peggy, which to me feels like a desperate attempt to get us, the audience, to hate him. But I've not worked in this specific type of porn before, so I could just peek out my ass.
Flowers smell good. That's not going to work.
What's wrong with smelling good? People like feet that smell good.
I've been around this business for long enough to know what works. No one wants pretty.
Well, of course they want pretty. They want my feet.
All right. You're a smart woman. All the girls figure it out eventually, and that's when I start paying.
Well, Huh?
You never thought those big ugly feet of yours could buy you a fur coat?
You think my feet are ugly?
Let's be honest, Peggy. You know your feet are ugly. That's what a certain type of very self-hating individual will pay top dollar to see.
Bull fucking shit. There are plenty of foot lovers who prefer clean feet to dirty, who do not think feet are ugly in the slightest. And they're certainly not self-hating. I resent that. Peggy runs away and goes to see a different doctor. She pleads with him to
smash them with a hammer and then reset them until they're a size 5.
Which the doctor obviously refuses to do. We then see Peggy moping in bed, cutting up her sandals. Bobby comes in and asks what's wrong with Peggy, to which Peggy gives a surprisingly honest response, given how typically she is as prudish as Hank about this type of stuff, especially around Bobby.
All that stuff I told you about empowerment, it was all lies. The whole time I was making smush videos, and they only wanted me for my ugly feet.
That was mean of them.
You don't understand, Bobby. I actually let myself believe that these were beautiful. Can you imagine? Peggy Hill, that stupid.
Peggy's feeling worse about her feet than ever before, and Bobby takes note. He decides to uplift Peggy with this iconic speech.
Mom, I'm fat, but big deal. I don't feel bad about it. You never made me feel bad about it. And just because there are some people in the world who want me to feel bad about it, doesn't mean I have to. So Bobby Hill's fat. He's also funny. He's nice. He's got a lot of friends, a girlfriend, and if you don't mind, I think I'll go outside right now and squirt her with water. What are you gonna do?
Though in retrospect, this becomes less impactful when you remember what happens down the line. Regardless, this really helps Peggy feel better, and the episode ends with Peggy, Hank, Dale, and Nancy back bowling, and Peggy proudly announcing on the intercom her shoe size.
My name is Peggy Hill, and I will take a size 16 and a half.
We don't need to know your name, we just need your shoes.
Fine. 16 and a half.
You know, I think I saw her on a website.
Yeah, pretty weird episode. I said earlier the episode really doesn't depict foot lovers in the most positive light, which isn't out of the ordinary for the show. Nobody is safe from ridicule, and it is a show about closed-minded Southern conservatives, but still. Feet lovers are already typically seen as weird or freaky, when their kink is one of the most common and frankly tame one. When you hear things like vor, quicksand, or hell, even sneezing, and no, I am not making that up, that is a real thing people are into. But as a King of the Hill episode, given the context of these characters, world, and all that, it's pretty standard, I guess. Nobody feels too out of character except maybe Hank, who I felt was too chill about the situation. King of the Hill is no stranger to pointing out Peggy's foot size or talking about sexuality. Hell, episode 2 was all about just that. So it's not all too shocking, just expanding upon a returning joke in an interesting way, like the episode Nancy Boys doing the same thing, but with the Nancy cheating joke. Now clearly I have some strong opinions about the foot fetish community, and I know y'all must be wondering, am I a foot lover or a foot hater?
Wrong!
Trick question, chuckle nuts. I'm both. On one hand, I'm not a fan of human feet, like, at all. Every time I see someone barefoot out there in the real world, it's like a gunshot to the face and I physically recoil. On the other hand, it just really depends on the character. So, yeah, actually, I guess that does mean I'm a foot lover. Just one with higher standards than others, I suppose. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm currently working on a remake of my Hello Bus ranking video, as I've watched all the episodes multiple times over and have more thought out opinions on them, and just more episodes to rank. I just wanted to get this one out there because I thought it'd be a little bit of a quicker one. It's not as in-depth or complex as my other King of the Hill review, but I just wanted an excuse to talk about this episode. I thought it would be pretty fun to do it in this way rather than taking it too seriously. I'll see y'all in the future. Sometimes. Probably. Maybe. Don't count on it.
Just made it.
Hey, if you like my content but don't like how long it takes for new stuff to come out, check out my Patreon where I post sneak peeks and work in progresses for all my upcoming video projects. There's free tiers for YouTube viewers, bronze for small stuff like out-of-context clips or edits to each specific video, silver for full entire scenes of the upcoming video, and lastly gold, which is the full video in its earliest watchable state, and each membership entitling you to a mention at the end of each video. So check it out if you have a chance.
Chillin' on the weekend like usual. Watching SpongeBob and Scooby-Dooby-Doo. She took the wires to my PlayStation, she doing too much. I didn't wipe my butt, I just pooped and got up. She got the cutest daughter, so I went to pick her up, then almost tossed her cause she really kicked me right in my nuts. I had to put some ice on them.